Welcome back, everyone, and we're going to talk about US Bank because maybe US Bank is bringing back the modular card. Recent weeks, there have been surveys that have been sent out to US Bank Altitude Reserve card holders because you got to bring back hockey to Atlanta the third time. The Flames didn't work, the Thrashers didn't work, but yeah, we're going to try this apple one more time. I think the apple's a little rotten, guys, but let's come back to US Bank and let's come back to the Altitude Reserve. So surveys went out, and a couple things that struck me about the surveys that I've heard from folks who receive them. Shout out to those who have, and you know who you are. One of the questions was, would you pay for more or less for various services? So that seems to come to mind the idea of a modular card, where you can pay for what you want to get out of the card, and they'll provide extras if you're willing to pay a little bit more. Maybe you can strip back some of the things from a $300 annual fee or a $400 annual fee. You don't hit that $400 annual fee. Maybe you sacrifice some credits. Maybe you do. I don't know how they're going to make this work. But would you pay an additional fee for additional services is an interesting concept to me, because I think it's a concept that should work across the board. Like you should be able to create your own card, right? The American Express Zinc card is a card that, like, as I learned about it, was a card that was well beyond its years when it launched, right? It was aimed at millennials. It was aimed at people like me who were coming out of the financial crisis, and it was given like a $25 base annual fee, but you could add like travel packs or cell phone packs, various packs is what they called them, and it was just like an extra fee for some extra services attached, or extra multipliers and purchase protections or travel protections, or you name it, right? So it wasn't a strong earning card, but the concept is awesome. Imagine a $50 base annual fee for a card, right? It comes with some pretty standard basics, like 1.5 base, and then, I don't know, 5x in the portal of your choice. Okay, but you're just presenting me the Quicksilver, but for $50? No. That's just, I'm going to cheap out and do this for $50. Nobody should do that. Pay additional, get higher multipliers, get TSA PreCheck global entry, get lounge access, or like you pay for the good lounge access that isn't just passes, or you pay for the passes, whatever you want, and you go from there. I don't think US Bank is going to do this with the Altitude Reserve and start at $50. I do think we're starting at a higher floor, probably that base 400, but would you pay for turning the 8 passes into unlimited priority pass? Would you pay for primary rental car? Would you pay for something else? Additional travel protections, or a different multiplier, or a different way to redeem, or something like that. So we have to see how it plays out. But the idea of $400 base annual fee, but you could take it up to $650, you could take it up to $700, you could take it past $700, maybe with some better multipliers, better redeeming options. Would you pay more in annual fee to go from 1.5 RTR to 2 cent per point RTR? Would you pay more to go on limited priority pass? Would you pay more for various other services? Would you pay less, take stuff off? Maybe. I think one possibility they could be doing with the Altitude Reserve, and I think they're just going to do a new card. Like, you can't bring back the Altitude Reserve name a third time. Like, you're just going to give people hope, and they're going to think it's the same card. And I don't think that this is going to be the same card going forward. One other thing they mentioned was points transfers, but they didn't specify travel partners. They were specifying brand partners. So does that mean you could redeem for 1.5 cents at Target? That would be interesting, for sure. Do I see that being a probability or a possibility? I don't know. But would you pay more an annual fee to redeem at 1.25 or 1.5 at Target or Walmart or big box store, warehouse store of your choice? That could be feasible for some folks. Oh, I turned 3x mobile wallet into redeeming for 6% at Costco. Yeah, that would be awesome. So we have to see what this idea is, but a modular card should be coming back. I would love to see each bank produce their own modular card, that they could do it on the low end or maybe in the mid tier, maybe go into the high end. I think mid tier would be perfect, just because they're all going to get to about 150 in the next couple of years, where 150 is the new 95. Like, any $95 card is going to go to 150 at some point in the near future. Strata Premier got refreshed last year. I don't think you're going to see that for at least a couple years. Autograph Journey launched last year. You're not going to see that for a couple more years. The Venture card could get a refresh past 95 up to 150, and maybe it gains some possibilities. Or you could just make 95 the base, right? This is what you get for 95. But you could go up to 150. You could go past 150. Extra multipliers, extra redeeming options, extra travel insurances, protections, travel comforts for an additional fee. I think that would be a really strong play across the board, whether it's American Express or Chase or Wells Fargo or US Bank, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to call this just the Altitude something, because I don't know what else to call it, and the Smartly brand is going to die at some point. US Bank is interesting. Maybe they bring back the Flex Perks name, and this becomes the new Flex Perks card. Just an idea. But I do think that a modular card is coming from US Bank, and I think they're going to have an interesting take on it, but it's US Bank, so I don't know how well they're going to implement this, but modular cards should be brought back. Altitude Reserve it's just a name I think they should just leave alone, leave the card as it is, let it ride off into the sunset, and bring back a different name. But like in the vein of Altitude Reserve, where you're going to get your mobile wallet category, you're going to get some interesting elevated redemption options. Like, how high an annual fee would you pay to have the same 2% that you're going to get through the edit with points boost to just like your generic travel redemption, or redemption at Costco or a supermarket brand or Target or Walmart? Like, depending on what they do with brands, this could be a really interesting play and a whole different take on things that would get the cashback community super excited, or could raise the eyebrows of the travel community. And then they start taking on more of a cashback approach. I do think you're going to need to pool Altitude points together to make it even more successful, but you're going to have to pay quite an annual fee for it. So yeah, I've seen stuff about the redemption options on Altitude Reserve. I've seen things about Altitude Reserve adding additional fees for additional services on the card and parts of the cards. I think they're taking a modular approach to whatever's next, either with Altitude Reserve or bringing back the Flex Perks name or creating a new card and going from there. I'd love to see what they have in store. I think they've got ideas that other banks should implement. Their execution on those ideas is always a little, but we'll see. Basically, don't bring back the Altitude Reserve name. Let that be what it is. But if you're going to bring back a card like the Altitude Reserve with more redemption options that you pay for, or more abilities than the more you add on, that could be interesting. And I think a modular card is something missing in this market. And I think the market is ready for a modular card, between the credit card community, the various aspects of the credit card community, and some regular people as well, because there are cards that aren't good fits for folks at their pre-prescribed levels. But if you had the ability to tweak things to make your perfect card, a bank would benefit from that. Yeah. But that's going to do it for this one. If you like what I do, hit the subscribe button down below. Check out the Stack Points podcast. We do lives on Thursdays. We post the show on Wednesdays and Fridays here on YouTube. If you want to consider supporting me here on YouTube, consider becoming a channel member. $2.99 a month. You can cancel at any time. And check out my pinned comment for other ways to support me outside of YouTube. Thanks so much for your time. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.